Welcome to love, lust, betrayal. Amelia and James had it all, or so it seemed. A beautiful home, a thriving social circle, and a marriage built on trust, or so James believed. But sometimes, the brightest smiles hide the darkest secrets. James was a corporate lawyer, often working long hours to provide a comfortable life for his wife, Amelia, an aspiring artist. Their life seemed perfect to their friends, a gorgeous couple, madly in love. But behind closed doors, things were far from idyllic. Amelia had grown distant. The vibrant, loving woman James married seemed preoccupied, distracted by her thoughts. She claimed it was her art, creative block, she called it, but James felt something was off. One evening, while James worked late, Amelia left for her art studio downtown. Or so she said. James noticed she'd dressed up more than usual, wearing a perfume he hadn't smelled in years. His instincts whispered something he didn't want to hear, but he shook the thought away, blaming his overactive mind. Amelia, meanwhile, was on her way to meet Eric. Eric was a charming art dealer who had taken an interest in her work. Or perhaps it was Amelia herself he was truly drawn to. Their meetings, initially professional, had taken a personal turn, stolen glances, lingering touches, and a chemistry neither could ignore. That night, Eric had invited Amelia to a private exhibit. The gallery was dimly lit, the atmosphere intimate. As they sipped wine and admired the art, Amelia felt an undeniable pull toward him. It was exhilarating, a stark contrast to the routine her life with James had become. Back home, James decided to surprise Amelia at her studio. He picked up her favorite coffee and headed out. But as he neared the studio, he noticed it was dark. Confused, he called her, only to be met with her voicemail. Something didn't add up. The next day, James couldn't shake his unease. Amelia's excuses for her whereabouts felt flimsy, her demeanor evasive. Determined to find answers, James installed a tracking app on her phone, a decision he immediately felt guilty about but couldn't stop himself from making. That evening, Amelia told James she had an important meeting with a client. James watched her leave, his heart heavy with suspicion. As the app showed her location at an unfamiliar address, he followed. What he saw when he arrived shattered him. Through the window of a trendy downtown restaurant, he saw Amelia with Eric. They laughed, their body language close, intimate. And then it happened, a kiss that confirmed his worst fears. James didn't confront her that night. Instead, he drove home, his mind racing. Should he explode in anger, or should he carefully plan his next steps? He spent the night thinking about the life they'd built and the lies it was now entangled in. The next morning, James couldn't hold back any longer. When Amelia returned home from her meeting, he confronted her. James. How could you do this, Amelia? After everything we've been through? Amelia. James, I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. I felt so lost. Her admission was like a knife to the heart. James demanded the truth, and Amelia admitted her relationship with Eric had gone beyond the professional. The betrayal was out in the open, and there was no turning back. Chapter 5, A Fork in the Road. Now, James and Amelia faced a crossroads. Could they salvage their marriage, or had Amelia's betrayal destroyed it beyond repair? Amelia, racked with guilt, begged for a chance to make things right. James, torn between his love for her and his pain, struggled to decide whether forgiveness was possible. In the end, James chose to step back and reflect. I need time, Amelia, he said. Time to decide if we can rebuild what you broke. Amelia, determined to prove her sincerity, cut ties with Eric and sought therapy to address the feelings that had led her astray. But James knew that the road to healing, if possible, would be long and fraught with challenges. Trust is the foundation of any relationship. When it's broken, rebuilding is a monumental task. For James and Amelia, the future was uncertain, but one thing was clear, the choices they made now would define the rest of their lives.